Let's talk about that spoonful of sugar you stir into your coffee every single morning. You know the moment. 1 second, it's there, this little pile of crystals, and the next, it's just gone. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not a magic trick. It's actually some seriously cool chemistry.
Right? You stir and poof, the sugar just disappears. But where does it actually go? Is it still there? The answer is a really fascinating piece of everyday science, and we are going to solve this sweet little mystery together. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle that sweet disappearance. Then we'll meet the key players in this whole operation. After that, we'll get into chemistry's golden rule, see how we can bend those rules by changing the conditions, and finally, we'll see why this whole thing matters way beyond your morning brew.
All right, first up, the magic trick itself. That moment the sugar seems to just vanish into thin air. What is going on there?
Okay, here's the big reveal. The sugar isn't disappearing at all. It's dissolving. It is absolutely still in your coffee. You just can't see it anymore. Why? Because its molecules have been pulled apart and spread out all through the liquid. But how does that even happen? Well, to get that, we need to meet the cast of characters.
To really get a grip on how dissolving works, we need to get to know the three key players involved in this chemical story.
First up, we have the solute. Now, this is the star of the show, the thing that seems to do the vanishing act. And in our morning mystery, the solute is, of course, the sugar.
Next on our list is the solvent. This is the one doing all the heavy lifting. This is the substance that actually causes the dissolving to happen. For your coffee, the solvent is really the hot water. And when the solute and the solvent finally get together and do their thing, they create a solution. That's just the name for the perfectly uniform mixture you get at the end. The result? Your delicious sweetened coffee.
So why do some things dissolve so easily, while others, like, say, oil and water, refuse to mix? Well, it all comes down to a super simple but really powerful rule in chemistry.
I want you to think of molecules like people at a party. You've got your polar molecules, like water and sugar. These guys are the social butterflies. Water, H2O, is polar because its oxygen atom hogs the electrons, giving it a slight negative charge, while the hydrogen atoms get a slight positive one. These charged ends act like little magnets, making them want to hang out with other charged or polar molecules. Then you have the nonpolar molecules, like oil. They're kind of the wallflowers. They have a nice, even charge all over, so they just prefer to stick with their own kind.
And that brings us to chemistry's golden rule, and it's this simple. Like dissolves like. That's it. The polar social butterflies hang out with other polar molecules, and the nonpolar wallflowers stick with other nonpolar molecules. That's exactly why water and sugar mix so well. They're both polar. But oil and water? Nope. One is nonpolar, the other is polar, and they just don't want to dance. So let's zoom in way down to the molecular level. What is actually happening? Well, first, those polar water molecules totally swarm the sugar crystal. Then, using those little magnetic positive and negative ends, they literally start to grab onto the sugar molecules and pull them away from the crystal one by one, and pretty soon each individual sugar molecule is completely surrounded by water molecules, totally hidden from sight and perfectly mixed into the solution. But hey, this whole dissolving thing isn't always a fixed process. We can actually change the rules of the game a little bit just by tweaking the conditions like temperature and pressure.
And just look at how much temperature matters. In cold water, you can dissolve about 200 grams of sugar. But if you crank that water up to a boil, whoa, you can dissolve almost 500 grams. That is a massive difference. It's why sugar seems to disappear instantly in hot coffee. Those water molecules have way more energy, so they're much more effective at pulling the sugar apart. Now, of course, there's a limit. Once you can't dissolve anymore, we call that a saturated solution. Hotter liquids just have a much, much higher saturation point for solids like sugar.
And pressure plays a huge role too, especially when we're talking about gases. Ever wonder what makes soda fizzy? It's because a ton of carbon dioxide gas has been forced to dissolve into the liquid under incredibly high pressure. The second you pop open that can, psht, you release the pressure, and all that dissolved gas escapes in a rush of bubbles. That's your fizz.
But let's be real, this is about so much more than just a sweet drink.
The ideas behind solubility are actually fundamental to pretty much everything in the world around us. I mean, this process is happening everywhere, all the time. It's how medicine dissolves to travel through your bloodstream. It's how soap works. It has a special head that's polar and a tail that's nonpolar, so it can grab nonpolar grease and wash away with polar water. It's even how fish breathe. They're taking in oxygen that's been dissolved in the water. From plants soaking up nutrients to creating metal alloys, it is truly essential. You know, there's this fantastic quote from Walter White in Breaking Bad that just hits the nail on the head. He says, chemistry isn't just the study of matter, it's the study of change. And that's exactly what dissolving is. It's a fundamental process of change, of one substance becoming part of another to create something totally new.
So, at the end of the day, the sugar doesn't vanish. It just becomes part of a new solution. And by understanding that one simple act, you really get a window into how so much of our world is mixed, mingled, and made, from the oceans all the way down to our own bodies.
So the next time you stir your coffee, remember, you're watching a fundamental process of change right there in your mug. And it kind of makes you wonder, if like dissolves like is the rule, what other unmixable problems in life are just waiting for us to find the right solvent? Just something to think about. Thanks for watching.